It was already very unbelievable that Zhou Zhou could have a 99% chance of breaking through to the Supreme Will Realm. You can't even feel at ease with this? Aren't you being a little too sneaky? Zhou Zhou didn't think too much about it. He only wanted to be safe. At this moment, a feeling of being blessed suddenly surged into the depths of his will. He had an idea. He took out a fruit that emitted a gentle golden flame and threw it into his mouth. He chewed and swallowed it. This golden flame fruit was called the Crimson Heart Fruit. This was a high-level Supreme Will Realm treasure. The effect was that when one's will broke through to the Supreme Will Realm, it could temporarily increase the strength and purity of one's will, increasing the probability of success by about 10%. Even though the probability of an increase of 10% was very small, to many experts who wanted to break through, this effect was already extremely powerful. It was enough to make countless supreme gods and even Supreme Will Realm experts want to fight for it. The Supreme Great Cosmos and the Crimson Great Cosmos did not have such fruits. This was what Zhou 12 and Zhou Shisan had accidentally obtained from a quasi-Supreme Will Realm expert when they killed him in the land of heavenly beauty. This fruit was placed in a world rings by the other party. It could be seen how much importance the other party placed on the Crimson Heart Fruit. Zhou Zhou guessed that the other party probably kept this Crimson Heart Fruit because he hoped that he could use it when he broke through to the Supreme Will Realm in the future. Unfortunately, he perished before he could use it. The fruit also landed in his hands. It was convenient for him to break through. Even though he had a 99% chance of steadily breaking through, Zhou Zhou naturally wouldn't mind having a higher chance of success. The effects of the Crimson Heart Fruit were indeed extraordinary. As soon as he ate it, he immediately felt the power of his will become stronger and purer. The benefit of this was that the feeling of being blessed instantly increased by 10 times. I can level up now. Zhou Zhou suddenly opened his eyes, and a shocking divine light erupted from them. An earth-shattering aura burst forth from his body. This aura even made the stars in the sky tremble. Even the Supreme Star, the Sun Star, and the Great Lunar Star trembled slightly, as if they could sense the rise of an expert. The abnormal movements of the stars immediately attracted the attention of the god spirits in the myriad worlds. What happened? Why are the divine kingdoms trembling faintly? I can feel the fear in my divine kingdoms. I'm also deeply afraid. Has an extremely powerful being been born? But what kind of powerful being was born to have such a phenomenon? Even if someone advanced to the supreme god level, the phenomenon shouldn't be so terrifying. Even the Supreme Star, the Sun Star, and the Great Lunar Star actually moved. This pressure, could it be that a supreme god is about to advance to the Supreme Will Realm? A new Supreme Will Realm expert has been born in our Supreme Great Cosmos. If that's the case, it's simply a grand occasion for our Supreme Great Cosmos. Our entire Supreme Great Cosmos has to celebrate. I'm Regal Great Solar. This isn't because an existence can advance to the Supreme Will Realm, but because an existence can purely advance his will realm from the will divine transformation realm to the Supreme Will Realm. It can be considered a pseudo-Supreme Will Realm. Next, he only needs to follow the prescribed order and transform his nomological comprehension into a will technique to transcend the God-Spirit system and become a Supreme Will Realm expert. He is on par with us. As for who this God is, you don't have to ask. I'll tell you that he is the common people's Regal. Shocking. Regal Great Solar actually came personally and told us the truth. Shouldn't Your Excellency Common People's Regal be the most shocked about advancing to the Supreme Will Realm? Oh my God, how long has the Common People's Regal been cultivating for? He's actually already come into contact with the Supreme Will Realm. I've cultivated for 100,000 years and am still wasting time in the Master God tier realm. I'm not convinced. Are you all stupid? Hurry up and congratulate the Common People's Regal for advancing to the Pseudo-Supreme Will Realm. That's right. Congratulations to His Highness, the Common People's Regal, for advancing to the Pseudo-Supreme Will Realm. Supreme potential. He will finally become a peak expert in the future. Congratulations to the Common People's Regal for advancing to the Pseudo-Supreme Will Realm. Supreme potential. You will finally become a peak expert in the future. Congratulations to the Common People's Regal for advancing to the Pseudo-Supreme Will Realm. Supreme potential. You will finally become a peak expert in the future. The God spirits were congratulating Zhou Zhou on his advancement. At this moment, a voice responded to the God spirits' congratulations. Same to you. When this emperor advances to the Supreme Will Realm, This emperor will hold a huge banquet to welcome all the god spirits. It was Zhou Zhou's voice. The god spirits quickly responded and expressed their willingness to go. This was an opportunity to curry favor with a supreme realm expert. Only a fool would not go. The Sun Divine Court. Regal Great Solar sat under the Regal Great Solar and discussed politics with the ministers below. At a glance, none of the ministers in the hall was weaker than a supreme god. There were even 5 supreme realm experts among them. At this moment, rumble. The entire divine court shook, causing the officials' expressions to change. What happened? A supreme realm expert is attacking? Why would the sun and stars move? Countless thoughts immediately appeared in the minds of the gods, and everyone was discussing quietly. Only Regal Great Solar and the 5 supreme realm experts looked at each other with joy on their faces. There's actually a supreme god who has comprehended the will realm of the supreme realm. He is only a step away from advancing to a true supreme realm expert. Regal Great Solar muttered to himself with a smile. In the near future, there will be a peer among us. This is our great fortune, even the great fortune of the universe. The 5 supreme realm officials were also very happy. Upon hearing their words, the god spirits finally knew what had happened. They could not help but feel excited and happy. Supreme realm existence. Each of them was a pillar-level expert of the supreme great cosmos. It was precisely because of the existence that the supreme great cosmos had been able to stand strong until now under the two-sided attack of the Crimson Overlord and the illusionary race. Now that a new supreme realm expert was about to be born in the supreme great cosmos, how could they not be excited? This meant that their protective umbrella had become stronger. Great Lunar, can you feel it? The Regal Great Solar said softly. I feel it. It's that little guy. The Regal Great Lunar chuckled. The way the Supreme Lord looks at people has always made us look up to him. Nothing happened this time. This common people's Regal has indeed knocked on the door of the Supreme realm. You're so young, but you have such achievements. How impressive. The Regal Great Solar sighed. That's right. The Regal Great Lunar was also very emotional. In the Supreme Domain, the Supreme looked at the blazing Sun Divine Kingdom in its Supreme Domain. At that moment, the blazing Sun Divine Kingdom began to rapidly expand. At the same time, its aura began to soar, causing countless water ripples to appear around it. This realm has advanced to the Supreme realm. The Supreme Will's lips curled into a smile. His successor really surprised him. Zhou Zhou's performance could be considered unprecedented to be able to reach this stage at such a young age, other than those innate saints who were born at the Supreme realm. This time, he is only a step away from the true Supreme realm. With his comprehension ability, as well as various supplementary treasures and holy artifacts, it's only a matter of time for him. At that time, my 4 successors will have 3 Supreme realm experts. The Supreme nodded slightly. He had indeed chosen the right person to be his successor. He just didn't know if the other party could improve further under him, nurturing and become an existence comparable to him. Then, he would be able to hand this universe over to the other party without worry. In the Reincarnation Sacred Palace of the Blazing Sun Divine Capital, inside the Reincarnation Shrine, Zhou Zhou, who was sitting cross-legged on the Tao Comprehension futon, slowly opened his eyes. The pair of eyes seemed to reflect the river of time and space. Thousands of space and time appeared in his eyes. A mysterious aura and pressure appeared on him. Low-level Supreme realm. Success. Zhou Zhou felt the majestic willpower in his body and could not help but relax. A smile appeared on his lips. He had finally advanced his will to the Supreme realm. The current him had the combat strength of the Supreme realm even without using his king. If I use the king, even ordinary high-level Supreme realm experts will not be my match. After advancing, I seem to have seen the river of time and space. Zhou Zhou was deep in thought. He thought for a moment and closed his eyes in deep thought. After a while, he suddenly opened his eyes. On the surface, he didn't change much, but the scene in his eyes rapidly changed. Soon, he saw a Zhou Zhou in a rock-yellow magic robe sitting cross-legged in a temple, comprehending the laws of rock magic. This rock god spirit did not notice that Zhou Zhou, who was in another space-time, was looking at him thoughtfully from across the endless space-time. Zhou Zhou muttered to himself after looking at his parallel space self for a while. About the strength of mid-tier deity level. Is my first parallel space self that powerful? Zhou Zhou was a little surprised. Normally speaking, when a god spirit entered the supreme will realm, they would have to start to restrain their other parallel universes and use this method to increase their strength realm. In the beginning, the parallel universe he encountered was his extremely weak self. It was even very likely that he would appear in a parallel universe without any extraordinary tier power. At the late-stage low-level Supreme Will Realm, or even the mid-stage Supreme Will Realm experts would begin to come into contact with alternate world bodies at the God Spirit realm. For example, Zhou Zhou had already reached the strength of a mid-tier deity level in the first parallel universe. He had seen all the Supreme Will Realm experts he knew, but he had never seen such a situation, which meant he was the first. Zhou Zhou was also very surprised. He thought for a while before a guess appeared in his mind. There were three possibilities for this situation. Firstly, his luck was bad. The first person he encountered was his stronger parallel universe self. Second, he was, in fact, very strong in every parallel universe. So it was not an accident that he was the first to encounter a mid-tier deity-level powerhouse, but his daily life in the future. Thirdly, his potential was very high. The Supreme Will Realm was not his limit. So the first of himself that he encountered in the parallel space was at the mid-tier deity level. The probability of the first two was too low. Therefore, Zhou Zhou felt that the third possibility was the most possible. Generally speaking, if the potential of a Supreme Will Realm was very high and had the potential to advance to the Will Realm in the future, then the parallel space-time he encountered would be very strong. Due to the fact that he was very strong when restraining his parallel space, such a Supreme Will Realm expert's strength increased very quickly. Other Supreme Will Realm cultivators might need tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, or even millions or tens of millions of years to restrain themselves in enough parallel space-time to advance to the mid-level Supreme Will Realm or even the high-level Supreme Will Realm. However, since the Supreme Will Realm with extremely high potential was very strong, it did not take that long at all. It might only take 10,000 years, thousands of years, or even less to advance to the mid-level or high-level Supreme Will Realm. And Zhou Zhou's potential was obvious to all. Almost everyone who had seen he before, including the Supreme Will and the Crimson Overlord, believed that he had the potential to advance to the willpower level. Under such circumstances, it was more normal for him to appear in a high-level parallel universe. At the thought of this, Zhou Zhou calmed down. His first parallel universe should not be an accident. The next step was to think about how to solve this parallel universe's problem. Actually, he didn't need to consider this matter under normal circumstances. This was because he was only at the Supreme Will Realm. He had not advanced to the Supreme Will Realm and was still a Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. He was far from the Supreme Will Realm at that moment. Even if he could rely on his advanced willpower realm to sense him, who was the first parallel universe to invade his timeline, he didn't have to worry about him invading him now. Only when he advanced to the Supreme Will Realm in all aspects would the other party trigger the advancement mechanism of the Supreme Will Realm and cross over from another distant timeline to deal with him. It was a little redundant now that he thought about it. However, with Zhou Zhou's personality, it was not a mistake to make preparations in advance. At this moment, he began to think. He looked at himself in the parallel universe and determined that the timeline he was in should be a timeline with magic as the main extraordinary tier system. Magic, its upper limit was also extremely high. It was a pity that the other party had not reached the upper limit of the magic extraordinary tier system. Otherwise, it might really bring him some trouble. Then, Zhou Zhou thought of another problem, and that was he really going to kill the other party? Even though he could only become stronger and climb to a higher level by restraining the other party, this was the first time they had met. It was somewhat against Zhou Zhou's principles to directly disregard the other party's good and evil and kill him. Furthermore, killing his alternate timeline main body always made him feel strange. He thought for a moment, took out the Bodhi Supreme, and asked directly, "Must I kill my alternate timeline main body to improve myself?" The Bodhi Supreme did not speak. Instead, it looked at Zhou Zhou for a long time before sighing. "It's only been a while since we last met, but your will is already at the Supreme Will Realm. I didn't waste my time with you." The corners of Zhou Zhou's mouth twitched a few times. "Stop lamenting. Answer my question first. Normally speaking, This is indeed the only way, Bodhi Supreme said leisurely, just like it used to. Then, it changed the topic and said, however, there are indeed other ways. What other ways? Zhou Zhou asked. This method is also very simple. It's to discuss with your alternate timeline main body. As long as you can get your alternate timeline main body to agree and fuse with you, you naturally don't have to kill the other party. You can directly restrain the other party and increase your strength. Zhou Zhou couldn't help but frown. That's putting it nicely. However, who would agree to a person suddenly coming in front of them and saying that they wanted to fuse with them? It was impossible for him to agree. He had to protect his existence even if he had to fight to the death. Zhou Zhou didn't understand the alternate timeline's main body, but he understood himself. In any case, if it were him, he would definitely not agree, even if the other party was a stronger alternate timeline main body. Zhou Zhou told Bodhi Supreme his thoughts. Bodhi Supreme smiled and said, I knew you were worried about such a problem, but I have to say that you still don't understand the Supreme Will realm. The fact that you can survive until now and not sense the prying of the other alternate timeline's main bodies until you advance to the Supreme Will realm proves that in all the current alternate timelines, only your main body has reached the Supreme Will realm and can begin to absorb the main body of the other alternate timelines to advance to the Will realm. You could say that you are a unique and even supreme existence among all the timelines. Ordinary Supreme Will realm experts call such existences kings, or king of the timeline. You might not be able to understand the uniqueness of the king of the timeline yet, but I can roughly describe it to you. If a king of the timeline appears in front of the other timeline's main bodies, the other timeline's main bodies will immediately realize the other party's special status and have thoughts centering on the other party. The reason why they resisted the king of timeline was only to protect their existence from disappearing. At the end of the day, it was an act of choice. If you can use the king of timeline's special charm in the hearts of the other timeline's main bodies to persuade the other timeline's main bodies to submit to you and fuse with you, you will naturally be able to achieve your goal of fusing with them without killing them. The Bodhi Supreme said slowly. Zhou Zhou was enlightened. It turned out that he, the king of the timeline, had such charm. If that was the case, the method mentioned by the Bodhi Supreme did have some possibility. However, you want me to make the other party abandon his existence and fuse with me just by relying on my charm. Zhou Zhou frowned slightly and said, I can do this when the alternate timeline is weak. However, in the later stages, the main body of the abnormal timeline will continue to become stronger under the blessing of fate. My charm will probably not have much effect. When the time comes, won't we still have to kill him? Indeed, the Bodhi Supreme said affirmatively. That's why I've prepared a transcendence technique here. As long as you learn this transcendence technique, I guarantee that when you use the charm of the King of Timeline to conquer your alternate timeline main body, you will have an 80% chance of success. If this doesn't succeed, it only proves that the other party is determined to protect his existence or wants to replace you. In that case, you can only kill the other party to complete the collection of the timeline. Don't worry, Zhou Zhou said calmly. If I really encounter that kind of self, I won't show mercy. If he really encountered a different timeline main body that was determined to be his enemy, he would not be able to get him to agree to fuse with him no matter what. Then, he would be an unquestionable enemy to him. Zhou Zhou never showed mercy towards any enemy, even if the other party was his alternate timeline main body. The Bodhi Supreme was satisfied. Zhou Zhou's kind but not pedantic personality was one of the reasons why it acknowledged him. What do you mean by transcendence? Zhou Zhou asked expectantly. Transcendence technique? Could it be a technique that transcended the level of will? Even he didn't have many legacies of this level. It's a technique that has always been at a higher level. This was accidentally obtained by the Supreme Will when he was walking in the ultimate void, great cosmos. He was left behind by a willpower expert called the Time's Sacred Venerate. It's a transcendent technique specially used to assist Supreme Will realm experts in advancing to the willpower realm. The Bodhi Supreme said, with this technique, the difficulty of advancing your willpower will decrease by more than half. In fact, after you advance to the willpower level, your strength as a willpower will be at least twice as strong as ordinary willpower. Really, Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up. It was actually such a powerful and rare technique. When have I ever lied to you? Bodhi Supreme asked proudly. Zhou Zhou nodded. Bodhi Supreme had indeed never lied to him. He was certain of this. What's the price? Zhou Zhou asked. After you advance to the Supreme Will Realm, I want you to help me find 10 complete will inheritances or a complete eternal immortal realm inheritance. The Bodhi Supreme said. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. 10 complete will inheritances or a complete eternal immortal realm inheritance. What a big appetite. He didn't ask what the other party wanted these things for. He only shook his head and said, there are too many. I can't get so many top-notch legacies. It was fine if there were 1 or 2 or 3 willpower inheritances. He was confident that with the means he had grasped, he would be able to obtain these things with some time. 10 of them? It was too exaggerated. Not to mention the eternal immortal realm inheritance. That was a treasure that could make even experts with willpower go crazy. Even a Supreme Will would be tempted by such an inheritance. Even if he advanced to the Supreme Will realm in the future, it would be very difficult for him to come into contact with an inheritance of that level. As for the Supreme Sacred Body series inheritance that the Supreme Will had prepared for him, if Zhou Zhou could really obtain it, he had no intention of sharing it with anyone, even the Bodhi Supreme. If the Bodhi Supreme was unwilling to provide him with the secret technique, at most, he would find another way or directly ask the Supreme Will. The Supreme Will definitely knew what the Transcendence Mystic technique mentioned by the Bodhi Supreme was. At most, he would have to pay a suitable price. He felt that the Supreme Will wouldn't ask him for too exaggerated a condition. 5 complete will inheritances or an incomplete eternal immortal realm inheritance. The Bodhi Supreme said, it's still too much. Zhou Zhou still shook his head. That's the only way. If you're still unwilling, then we won't trade. The Bodhi Supreme said slowly. Zhou Zhou was helpless. This guy had really grasped my mentality perfectly. 5 complete will inheritances or an incomplete eternal immortal realm inheritance were just the upper limit of his endurance. However, Zhou Zhou would reject it without hesitation if it was just a little more. If it was just a little more, Zhou Zhou would reject it without hesitation. Sure, let's make a deal. Zhou Zhou did not hesitate for too long. In any case, the Bodhi Supreme did not say that there was a time limit. In that case, he could slowly find one for him after advancing to the Supreme Will realm. When Bodhi Supreme heard Zhou Zhou agree to him, he laughed in satisfaction and said, the transcendence technique I am giving you is. This transcendent technique is called the My Freedom Transformation Technique. After cultivating the My Freedom Transformation Technique, you can absorb the other alternate timeline main bodies and create an alternate timeline clone at the same time. This alternate timeline clone is almost no different from the absorbed alternate timeline main body. Even its self-awareness is preserved. The only difference is that he has changed from an alternate timeline main body to your alternate timeline clone. Such a clone doesn't even need to listen to your orders, but he won't hurt you at the same time. Because he is your clone, he will immediately be destroyed if he hurts you or even has the slightest intention of hurting you. The biggest difficulty in absorbing the main body of the alternate timeline is that the main body of the alternate timeline will be forcefully fused and erased by you because of its existence. Therefore, I'm unwilling to let you succeed even if I risk my life. But think about it. When he finds out that he can still exist in the form of a clone even after you absorb the other party's main body, and even this clone that he has transformed into doesn't need to listen to your orders, do you think he will still fight to the death and not let you succeed? Even if he still has this thought, how long can this thought last under the threat of your powerful strength? The Bodhi Supreme said slowly. Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up. My freedom transformation technique is so effective. This was completely a technique specially created for the survival of clones just from the effect mentioned by the Bodhi Supreme. Just as Bodhi Supreme had said, if the alternate timeline main body knew that its existence did not need to be erased and would only become a free clone, would the other party's resistance still be so strong? Zhou Zhou thought about it from another perspective. If it were him, even if he still had some resentment in his heart, there was a high chance that he would not continue to resist. He had only become a clone and not a puppet after all. He could control all his freedom, coupled with the fact that the king of the timeline was so powerful that he could not resist. In the face of such a situation, why did he have to seek death? He could even think about it from another perspective. Wasn't this finding himself a backer comparable to God? If it were him, he would definitely tell him all his requests and let him satisfy him. In any case, wouldn't it be easy for him to satisfy this request with the other party's supreme will realm strength? The price of turning into a clone could be exchanged for something he did not even dare to think about in his life. Zhou Zhou felt that he could accept it. Otherwise, would he insist on working for others if it was him on Earth? He might as well be a clone. At least he was working for him. Other than this, does this my freedom transformation technique have no other effect? Zhou Zhou asked. Of course, the Bodhi Supreme said. It's a top-notch transcendence technique after all. Apart from allowing you to not kill the alternate space-time main body to improve yourself as much as possible, it also allows you to retain a large number of your alternate space-time clones. These alternate space-time clones can grow alone. With the help of you, the king of the timeline who has the strength of the supreme will realm, they will be able to advance to an extremely high level sooner or later. If they can also advance to the supreme will realm, or even higher in the future, you will be natural allies. You don't have to worry about the possibility of the other party stabbing you in the back. Even if your other alternate timeline clones can't grow to the supreme will realm, you can still forcefully absorb their power into your body at a critical moment with the help of the other transformation technique, allowing your strength to increase in a short period of time. After that, you can return the power to them, and they will be fine. If you unfortunately die one day in the future, you can also find a suitable one among your many alternate timeline avatars to possess and be reborn. When your strength increases again, it's not impossible to seek revenge on your former enemies. Apart from these abilities, the freedom transformation technique, as a transcendence technique, has many magical functions. I won't explain all of this one by one. You can slowly study it when you're free in the future. And these abilities are definitely abilities that other supreme willpower realm experts who have not cultivated the freedom transformation technique would not have. Which means, after you cultivate the freedom transformation technique and advance to the supreme will realm, you are naturally much stronger than other supreme will realm experts. You also have many backup plans. The preciousness of this technique is enough to be ranked in the top 3 among the many will transcendence techniques possessed by the supreme will. Give me this secret technique. Zhou Zhou no longer hesitated and said directly at the thought of this. Bodhi Supreme did not waste any time when he heard that. He handed the My Freedom Transformation technique to Zhou Zhou. After Zhou Zhou obtained it, he roughly took a look in his mind and knew that it was a cultivation technique that only Supreme will realm experts could cultivate. He ignored it for the time being. Then, he looked at his newly awakened Supreme Unique Lord Talent, Scarlet Primordial Mother Nest, the original source of the Scarlet Fog Monster. It was once destroyed in the battle between the Supreme Will and the Crimson Overlord. Now, under the mysterious power and in this era, it can absorb the Scarlet Fog to nurture monsters of a designated race. Specific Talent Effect 1, Scarlet Broodmother. The Scarlet Primordial Mother Nest can create 3 Scarlet Broodmothers to be the mother of the Scarlet Fog creatures. The Scarlet Primordial Mother Nest is in charge of incubating the Scarlet Broodmother. Currently, 1 Scarlet Broodmother can be born every day. Each Scarlet Broodmother has the strength of a Grade 1 Supreme God. At the same time, the Scarlet Broodmother can also command the Scarlet Fog monsters born from the Scarlet Broodmother to fight for them. Specific Talent Effect 2, Mist Mother. The Scarlet Broodmother can use the Crimson Law to create the Mist Mother in order to share its incubation mission. The Mist Mother can create Scarlet Fog and produce hero bosses and hero bosses. Specific Talent Effect 3, Scarlet Affinity. The Fog Monster faction sees you as one of the supreme leaders of their faction. Not only will they not take the initiative to attack you and your territory faction, they will even take the initiative to join your faction and work for you. However, when you take the initiative to attack the other party or do any harmful actions to the Fog Monster faction, this effect will automatically be broken. Specific Talent Effect 3, Scarlet King. As the owner of the Scarlet Broodmother, the owner's status is comparable to the Scarlet King. You can go to any Fog Monster faction that has no grudge with you or your territory faction and let this Fog Monster faction be used by you. The level of this Fog Monster faction is the same as your own faction. Moreover, you can only have the loyalty of 1 Fog Monster faction at the same time. Specific Talent Effect 5, Scarlet Embryo. You can order the Scarlet Primordial Mother Nest or the Scarlet Broodmother to specially nurture a Scarlet Hero or a Scarlet God Spirit. The length of time a hero or God Spirit can be nurtured depends on the level of the hero or God Spirit. The higher the level, the longer it will be nurtured. The lower the level, the shorter the nurturing time. It can shorten the gestation time of the embryo by going out to war and kill. Specific talent effect 5. Scarlet Blood Servant. The Scarlet Broodmother's main body can nurture dragons, titans, elves, fairies, descendant of the god spirit, and other fog monsters with top-notch bloodlines to become the Scarlet Broodmother's blood servants and protect the Scarlet Broodmother. Zhou Zhou read it carefully and couldn't help but click his tongue. Good God. After this Scarlet Broodmother advanced to the Scarlet Primordial Mother Nest, it actually had such a top-notch effect. First of all, just by creating 3 Scarlet Broodmothers a day, it tripled the spoils of war, soldier-type class change book, and soldier-type recruitment books that Zhou Zhou obtained from the Scarlet Primordial Mother Nest every day. One Scarlet Broodmother could allow his territory to have 80 more Guy unit recruits every day. The 3 Scarlet Broodmothers were the 240 Guy unit recruits. The weakest of these recruits had the strength of a legendary tier elementary grade, and the strongest had the strength of legendary tier advanced grade. They were only a step away from the God Spirit realm. In addition, they had the upper limit of a grade 4 Supreme God's potential. How was this bringing him 240 Guy units of recruits? This was directly bringing him 240 Guy units of God Spirits. Moreover, the Mist Mother could already create a hero boss level fog monster. Such a monster could drop extremely precious spoils of war like origin crystals and the hero inheritance secret manual. Coupled with Zhou Zhou's Lord talent, Heavenly Fate Di Huang, and the sea of fog monsters in the Scarlet Primordial Mother Nest, Zhou Zhou felt that in the future, in terms of origin crystals and the hero inheritance secret manual, Zhou Zhou could already achieve the freedom of loots. Specifically, Lord Talent Effect 3 made him the supreme leader of the Scarlet Camp. Even though he did not know how high the level of this supreme leader was, Zhou Zhou guessed that it should not be inferior to the status of a supreme god or even a quasi-supreme realm expert in the Scarlet Fog Monster Camp. It might even be higher. The specific effect of Lord Talent 4 was even more impressive. It could actually allow him to have a status comparable to the Scarlet Supreme Reserve Army. He thought that he was seeing things when he saw this. He deliberately blinked a few times to confirm that he was not seeing things. Zhou Zhou's expression could not help but be strange. He had actually obtained a status comparable to the Scarlet Supreme Reserve Army without doing anything. He thought for a moment and realized that this status should be quite useful to him. He had a clone pretending to be the Scarlet Lord in the Crimson Great Cosmos after all. With this outer skin that was comparable to a Supreme Lord's Reserve Army position on him, it would be much more convenient for his clone to do something in the Crimson Great Cosmos. Especially with this status, he could directly subdue a Scarlet faction of the same level as his territory. The territorial faction on the side of the Crimson Great Cosmos clone was currently a beginner-grade Master God-tier kingdom, which meant, in the future, if any beginner-grade Master God-tier faction appeared in the Crimson Great Cosmos, he could directly subdue them without spending time to start a war with them. This would undoubtedly be much more convenient for him to complete the mission of advancing him Divine Kingdom. Specific Talent Effect 5 was the ability to create scarlet embryos and nurture scarlet god spirits. Currently, the highest they could nurture was a grade 1 Scarlet Supreme God every day. Zhou Zhou quickly had an idea about the Scarlet Supreme God that was created this way. That was to place them on the side of the clone in the Crimson Great Cosmos and increase the strength of the clone. With a Scarlet Supreme God around, it would probably be much more convenient for his clone to conquer the enemy Lord faction of the Crimson Great Cosmos. As for the final specific talent effect 6, Crimson Blood Servant, after advancing, it could already nurture blood servants of top bloodline races like the original Spirit race, the Shepherd's God race, and the Chaos Gods race. A Scarlet Blood Warrior with such a top-notch bloodline, be it in terms of strength or potential, far exceeded powerhouses of the same level. A Grade 1 Supreme God Scarlet Blood Servant might be able to fight a Grade 2 Supreme God, or even a Grade 3 Supreme God realm. He was born to be a good fighter. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction after reading everything. After the Scarlet Broodmother's advancement this time, its improvement was really huge. Now, the Scarlet Broodmother and the Life Arc had both advanced to the Supreme Unique Lord Talent. What was left was the mythical tier Mysterious Merchant. This Lord Talent could only be upgraded tomorrow. Then, he got up and left the reincarnation sacred palace, arriving at Mu Gu's residence. After Zhou Zhou arrived, he saw Mu Gu drinking tea. As for Wu Xin, he had naturally led the army into the scarlet primordial mother nest to hunt the nest monster. "Greetings, Your Majesty," Mu Gu immediately said respectfully when he saw Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou sat down. Mu Gu immediately poured a cup of tea for him. After Zhou Zhou took a sip, he sighed with emotion and said to Mu Gu with a smile, "How does it feel to upgrade the Scarlet Broodmother to the Scarlet Primordial Mother Nest?" "It feels great." A smile appeared on Mu Gu's face. "Even though I'm still a Grade 1 Supreme God now, I'm confident that I can easily defeat even a quasi-supreme will realm expert in front of me." "Not bad." Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Then, he and Mu Gu chatted for a while. Just as the two of them were chatting happily, a golden stream of light flew out of the Scarlet Broodmother and landed on the ground, revealing Wu Xian's figure. He looked extremely excited, as if an ordinary person had won a 10 million yuan prize. Then, he saw Zhou Zhou. "Greetings, Your Majesty." Wu Xian suppressed the excitement in his heart and said respectfully, "How's your game this time?" Zhou Zhou stood up and asked expectantly, "Your Majesty, please take a look." Wu Xian did not waste his breath. He took out 3 world rings and handed them to Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou took it and looked over expectantly. One of the world rings was filled with a huge number of loots. One of the world rings contained a total of 5 Guy Unit, Supreme God Realm Soldier Recruitment Books, and 5 Guy Unit, Supreme Holy Mage God Recruitment Books. The other world ring contained 5 Guy Unit, Supreme God Realm Soldier Class Change Certificates, and 5 Guy Unit, Supreme Holy Mage God Class Change Certificates. "Okay," Zhou Zhou said excitedly. Just this short period of income allowed his military strength to increase by 4 times, reaching more than 300 troops of Guy Unit. He would be so excited if it were any other lord. After Zhou Zhou was overjoyed, he immediately handed the class change certificate to Wu Xian and asked him to find a reserve recruit to change his profession to Supreme God Realm Soldier and Supreme Holy Mage God. As for Zhou Zhou, he immediately left Mu Gu's blessed land and flew out of the Divine Kingdom world to the Gate of Summoning. Then, he called over a Grade 1 Supreme God-level cosmic battleship, as usual. This was a total of 120 Guy Unit recruits, and they were very powerful. The previous Master God-tier advanced grade cosmic battleships were no longer worthy of them. They had to use the internal space of the Grade 1 Supreme God cosmic battleships as the military base where they rested, trained, and lived. After that, Zhou Zhou threw all 120 Guy Unit recruitment books into the Gate of Summoning. Then, he spent 100 Grade 1 Supreme God Divine Crystals to recruit and arranged for them to be placed on this cosmic battleship. When he saw that 10 Guy Unit soldiers had suddenly appeared in the internal world of the Eternal Battleship, he could not help but smile. The feeling of having an explosive increase in military strength was really good. Then, Zhou Zhou spent another 100 Grade 1 Supreme God Divine Crystals to summon today's subject. This time, he summoned more than 27.7 billion subjects. He summoned more than 6.6 billion subjects than usual. The strongest among them were 15 Grade 1 Supreme God Spirits. When Zhou Zhou saw these 15 Grade 1 Supreme Gods, the smile on his lips could not be suppressed. A total of 15 Grade 1 Supreme Gods. In less than 2 years, even if he did not obtain any other Supreme Gods during this period, he could have more than 10,000 Supreme Gods. When the time comes, the Supreme Gods under him would exceed the total number of Supreme Gods in the entire Supreme Great Cosmos. It was unbelievable just thinking about it. Zhou Zhou felt that he was a little arrogant and hurriedly reminded himself not to be arrogant. However, the more he thought about it, the more he couldn't suppress the corners of his lips. He shook his head and forcefully suppressed his wild thoughts. Then, he asked his subordinates to arrange the whereabouts of these new soldiers and new subjects. He went to Jade Capital Immortal Mountain alone. After spending 1,000 low-tier deity-level elementary grade divine crystals, he summoned 100 heavenly soldiers, heavenly generals, and heavenly venerates of the capital units. At this moment, swoosh, 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 swoosh. A total of 12,434 light pillars of various laws soared into the sky from the direction of the reincarnation sacred palace. Right on the heels of that, another 50 completely different starry sky phenomena appeared in the sky, filled with stars. It was the cosmic phenomenon of a master god tier becoming a supreme god. The god spirits who saw this scene and understood the meaning behind it were all shocked. This is 50 supreme gods born in the blazing sun divine kingdom? What a joke. These are supreme gods. There are only 10,000 of them in the entire supreme great cosmos. How did the common people's regal make the blazing sun divine kingdom produce 90 supreme gods a day? Unbelievable. From this scene, I have a premonition that the common people's regal and his blazing sun divine kingdom are destined to lead the revolution of the new era. What's the point of shooting after the horse? Creating 50 supreme gods a day. If it were me, I would know that the future belongs to the common people's regal. 50 supreme gods are born in a day, so there are 100 supreme gods in 2 days. In less than a year, the number of supreme gods under the common people's regal exceeds the number of supreme gods in the entire supreme great cosmos? You're too narrow-minded. Who said that the common people's regal can only have new supreme gods under his command? Can't the existing supreme gods join the common people's regal and become his subordinates? I'm sure that in less than 200 days, or even less than 100 days, the common people's regal will have as many supreme god subordinates as the entire supreme great cosmos. Gosh, you guys really dare to think about it. You can have a number of supreme gods comparable to the entire supreme great cosmos in less than 100 days. Aren't you guys exaggerating a little too much? I've specially studied the history of the rise of the common people's regal. I can only say that according to the rise of the common people's regal in the past, this speed is really not exaggerated. Think about how long it has been since the common people's regal came to the supreme continent and walked the path of extraordinary tier. Think about this and think about the current situation. Do you still think it's exaggerated? Good God, good God, good God. Chaotic formation. Previous poster, what are you doing? Let's continue from me. Be good. Good God. The god spirits sighed. They thought about the process of the common people's regal's rise and suddenly felt that what some of the god spirits said might really be possible. This made them sigh and look forward to the future of the common people's regal. They all realized something today no matter what. No matter how much they envied the rising star of the common people's regal, the rise of this rising star was already unstoppable for them. Furthermore, they were already certain. The common people's regal was definitely not inferior to Lord of 10,000 Evils, the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord, and even God King Heaven Punishment. Even they could not create 50 new supreme gods in a day after all. This kind of innovation was already an unbelievable matter that overturned their worldview. At the same time, Zhou Zhou was already surrounded by these newly promoted master gods and supreme gods. Zhou Zhou smiled and chatted briefly with them before giving them a set of divine artifacts. Then, he made they retreat. Zhou Fight calculated the strength of his main combat army after they left. His original military strength was 69 Guy units, 6,995 capital units, 3 quadrillion, 421 trillion, 192 billion, 838,723,387 soldiers, 12,436,712,391 god spirits, 44,088,699,419 true god tiers, 1,548,804 supremacy gods, 475 supreme gods, and 34 quasi-supreme wool realms, including the 240 new Guy unit recruits, 100 capital units heavenly soldiers, 926,923 new master god tiers, and 65 new supreme gods. The troops under him had already reached 65 Guy units, 559 capital units, 271 trillion, 198 billion, 429 million, 878,167 soldiers, 196 billion, 302 million, 759,999 god spirits, 25 billion, 734 million, 183,552 true gods, 820,285 supremacy gods, 372 supreme gods, and 16 quasi-supreme willpower realm. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction after reading it. 300 Guy unit troops, hundreds of trillions of god spirits, 40 billion true god tier, 2.4 million master god tier, 540 supreme gods. There were a total of 34 quasi-supreme will realm experts. Such a faction was already not inferior to ordinary supreme will realm factions. What a pity. Currently, no supreme will realm expert has been born among the soldiers under me. Otherwise, my faction will reach the supreme will realm. Zhou Zhou shook his head regretfully. Even though he now had the combat strength of a high-level supreme will realm expert, he was not a true supreme will realm expert after all. Therefore, his Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom could at most be considered a pseudo-supreme will realm faction. I wonder when my faction will have a supreme will realm expert who can advance my Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom to the supreme will realm. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. As soon as this thought came out, he suddenly sensed something and looked ahead in a daze. A spatial rift suddenly appeared in front of him. This spatial rift was very flat and smooth, as if it had been cut cleanly by a knife. After the spatial rift was constantly expanded by the remaining saber energy, a figure walked out and smiled at Zhou Zhou. Heavenly Blade Quasi-Supreme will realm. That's not right. Zhou Zhou sensed the aura on the other party's body and suddenly revealed a look of joy. You've advanced to the Supreme Will realm. The will of the Heavenly Blade nodded and smiled. The Supreme Will values me very much and has helped me a lot. Only then can I advance to the Supreme Will realm. Zhou Zhou couldn't help but sigh. This sentence was simple. However, which Supreme Will realm expert relied on the help of other experts to advance to the Supreme Will realm? Even the Supreme Will could only assist the Heavenly Blade and accelerate its growth. When it really reached the bottleneck of the Supreme Will realm, it would have to rely on itself. At that time, if one relied too much on others' help previously, they would appear weak when facing a bottleneck to break through. The probability of breaking through the bottleneck and successfully advancing was very low because the strength of such experts was exaggerated, similar to pulling out seedlings to encourage them. Only when he cultivated normally could he rely on himself as much as possible. The strength, realm, and methods he grasped were all cultivated step by step. When facing a breakthrough bottleneck, his performance would be better and the probability of advancement would be higher. Therefore, the Heavenly Blades will said that the Supreme Will had helped him a lot, allowing him to advance to the Supreme Will realm. These words were just humble words. The Supreme Will had indeed helped the Heavenly Blade will, but it would at most help him point out the direction of his efforts. It would prevent him from walking further and further down the wrong path, saving him time for cultivation. The reason why the will of the Heavenly Blade could advance from a quasi-supreme will realm expert to a supreme will realm expert was mostly because of his own hard work and talent. Lord Heavenly Blades will is too humble. Zhou Zhou came back to his senses and sighed. Your Majesty, you don't have to call me Lord. The Heavenly Blades will retracted its smile and said in a low voice, I have something important to report to your Majesty. What is it? Zhou Zhou was stunned. The will of the Heavenly Blade took a deep breath and suddenly knelt on one knee. He also held a saber in his right hand and stabbed it into the ground. He said respectfully and sincerely, the will of the Heavenly Blade wants to join your Majesty's Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom and become your Majesty's first Supreme Will Realm subordinate. Please approve. Zhou Zhou's eyes widened slightly. He had just thought that it would be good if there was a Supreme Will Realm expert who could become his subordinate. This way, his Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom could be considered a Supreme Will Realm faction. He did not expect that it would come true just as he finished thinking about it. Zhou Zhou looked at the will of the Heavenly Blade and felt like he was in a dream. However, he slowly calmed down when he thought of his powerful luck that was comparable to a willpower expert. With his huge luck, it was not impossible for him to obtain the loyalty of a Supreme Will Realm expert. At the thought of this, he extended his hand to the will of the Heavenly Blade and said with a smile, since the will of the Heavenly Blade is willing to join our Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, it would be a little ungrateful and pretentious of me to reject it. Besides, I don't want to reject it. Welcome, Will of the Heavenly Blade. You are now the first Supreme Will Realm cultivator of our Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. Zhou Zhou congratulated. Tonight, this emperor will hold a banquet to welcome you. I'll definitely be there in time. The will of the heavenly blade immediately said. Zhou Zhou smiled and nodded. He still felt a little emotional. Who wouldn't sigh with emotion when a supreme will realm expert fell from the sky to become their subordinate? At the same time, the will of the heavenly blade looked at Zhou Zhou and sighed. Even though he was already at the low-level supreme will realm, he could not be proud in front of Zhou Zhou. The reason was very simple. The supreme will had mentioned Zhou Zhou's battle results just as he was about to leave. He killed a high-level supreme will realm illusionist clan, Death Whisper, a martial emperor of the illusionist clan who was comparable to high-level supreme will realm expert, and 3 other mid-level and low-level supreme will realm experts. At that time, he was still a grade 3 supreme god realm expert, but he had killed 5 supreme will realm experts of the illusionist clan. The will of the heavenly blade was stunned after hearing this. Originally, after he advanced to the supreme will realm, he felt a little dizzy even with his calm state of mind. This was a supreme will realm expert after all. There were only about 50 of them in the entire supreme great cosmos. Now that he had become one of them, how could he not be proud? If he didn't become arrogant, he would be considered to have a high state of mind. However, after hearing Zhou Zhou's results, his arrogant attitude that had just risen was immediately extinguished like a fire that had been hit by water. They knew what they were doing. The will of the heavenly blade had an evaluation of its strength long ago. Even if he had advanced to the supreme will realm now, with his extremely high talent in the sword Dao and combat experience, he could at most fight a mid-level supreme will realm expert. As for his majesty, a grade 3 supreme god realm could kill high-level supreme will realm expert, and it was the illusionist clan with the strangest methods. How could the will of the heavenly blade still be proud in the face of such a comparison? He was even a little ashamed. After advancing to the supreme will realm and being able to fight a mid-level supreme will realm expert, he felt proud. As for the other party, a grade 3 supreme god realm expert could kill a high-level supreme will realm expert. He had already killed 5 supreme will realm enemies of the illusionary race, but he could not tell that she was floating at all. The most terrifying thing was, he stood in front of Zhou Zhou and could clearly sense that the other party's will realm had already reached the supreme will realm, and the supreme will had already clearly told he that when he killed 5 supreme will realm enemies, his will level was far from reaching the supreme will realm. He was a pure supreme god, which meant, in just a few days, the other party's strength increased again. Before he became stronger, he could already kill a high-level supreme will realm expert. Now, his strength has increased by leaps and bounds again. Could it be that he could already kill top-notch supreme will realm experts? This extremely bold guess appeared in the mind of the will of the heavenly blade. The most terrifying thing was that he felt that there was nothing wrong with his bold guess. Zhou Zhou let the will of the heavenly blade head to the Yellow River region, while he returned to the reincarnation sacred palace in the divine kingdom world. He sat cross-legged on the Tao comprehension hassock with a serious expression. He took a deep breath and suddenly said in a low voice, "Break." As soon as he finished speaking, Zhou Zhou's 16 clones scattered across the high continent, the myriad worlds, the Yellow River domain, Tianjun's land, the Yellow Heaven Great Cosmos, and even the entire ultimate void Great Cosmos muttered the word break almost at the same time. In the next second, the level of will in them also broke through the bottleneck almost at the same time and advanced to the low-level supreme will realm. Done. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. After this synchronization, he was equivalent to having 16 clones with high-level supreme will realm combat strength in various worlds and domains. With such strength, as long as he did not provoke a willpower expert, he could go anywhere in the world. Let's create another clone. Zhou Zhou thought for a moment and activated the doppelganger technique again. After consuming half of his origin power, he created his 17th clone. "Greetings, main body," he said respectfully. "From today onwards, your name will be Zhou Shiqi." Zhou Zhou looked at the clone opposite him and said with a satisfied expression, "Sure." Even though Zhou Shiqi felt that his name was rather casual, he didn't say anything. He wasn't someone who cared about such matters. "Main body, why did you summon me out?" he asked directly. "You know me." Zhou Zhou smiled and said solemnly, "I'll give you a batch of resources. Take this batch of resources and make sure to establish some beginner-grade master god-tier kingdoms or higher in the supreme great cosmos and the Crimson Great Cosmos in a short period of time. Understood. Zhou Zhou nodded and turned to leave. As Zhou Zhou's clone, he naturally knew that all of the main body's resources were stored in their first treasure vault. Therefore, he did not need to ask where those resources were. When the time came, he could just take them out from the #1 treasure vault and use them. A faint smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's face as he watched Zhou Zhou leave. With these avatars helping him, he had indeed saved a lot of time. Otherwise, if he did everything himself, his current divine spirit realm and will realm would definitely be far from his current level. Perhaps at this moment, he had not even reached the level of a supreme god. In addition, when he thought of what Zhou Zhou was about to do, he could not help but frown. Now, there was no need to worry about the resources needed to upgrade his territory. This was because there was the Yellow Sky Great Cosmos. There were a large number of Master God tier kingdoms and even Supreme God kingdoms there. No matter what level he wanted to upgrade his territory to, the Yellow Sky Great Cosmos could satisfy his upgrade needs. However, the upgrade of the Divine Kingdom was different. This was because it required the Master God tier kingdom under the Supreme Will and the Master God tier kingdom under the Crimson Overlord. So, if he wanted to upgrade his Divine Kingdom, he had to start from the Master God tier kingdoms of the Supreme Great Cosmos and the Crimson Great Cosmos. When he upgraded the Divine Kingdom to Supreme Kingdom, he would even need to search for Supreme Kingdoms in the Supreme Great Cosmos and the Crimson Great Cosmos. The Supreme Great Cosmos and the Crimson Great Cosmos did not have so many Master God tier kingdoms and Supreme Kingdoms for the time being. So, in order to upgrade his Divine Kingdom in the future, he had to make preparations for the future from now on. In other words, he had to nurture the Master God tier kingdoms and even the Supreme Kingdoms in the two universes. At the thought of this, Zhou Zhou could not help but complain. It's not a good thing for me to improve too quickly. The surrounding facilities can't keep up. He was also helpless about this. But what could he do? He could only work hard to nurture them himself. Then, he continued cultivating. Now that his willpower level had already reached the Supreme Will realm, the next direction of his cultivation was to work hard to improve his Divine Spirit realm and quickly raise it to the limit of the Supreme God realm. Then, he would comprehend his first willpower skill and break through to the true Supreme Will realm in one go. He now felt that he was not far from becoming a grade 4 Supreme God. He had to work harder. At the Chaos Sea, Zhou Marshal had already brought Thanatos, Nazario, and 10,000 Master God tier advanced grade God spirits to the Chaos Sea. Today, the space-time chaotic divine demons, they had brought a total of 832 chaotic divine demons. Zhou Marshal gave the space-time chaotic divine demon, they 3,328 Master God tier divine artifacts. Then, he killed the 832 chaotic divine demons with a single palm strike and obtained 3,364 units of chaotic divine artifacts. Then, he looked at the 4 chaotic divine demons and took out 3 grade fear supreme gods God spirit lords, handing them to the other 3 chaotic divine demons. Work hard for this emperor. When you reach the bottleneck of a 4th stage supreme god, this emperor can see your contributions and bestow you with the inheritance of the Supreme Will realm. Zhou Marshal said calmly. The 3 Master God tier advanced grade deities, Wind Ancestor, Sky Ancestor, and Ghost Ancestor, were excited when they saw the 4 grade 4 Supreme God's Book of the God Spirit and heard Zhou Marshal's promise to them. Naturally, they would not doubt the words of this common people's regal. After all, they already knew that the other party had given birth to 50 Supreme Gods today. It was not strange for him to create so many Supreme Gods in batches every day and have the inheritance to advance to the Supreme Will realm. Yes, Your Majesty, I will definitely do my best for Your Majesty and not let you down, the 4 God spirits said respectfully and excitedly. Zhou Marshal nodded and left with his soldiers. Following that, they made another trip to the time ruins of Chaos of Death and obtained another 170 units of Chaos Divine Treasures. In addition, he originally had 24,804 units of Chaos Divine Treasure left. He had a total of 28,338 Chaos Divine Treasures. Zhou Marshal was satisfied. This was not the end. Next, Tianjun's land, the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce, Yellow Heaven Great Cosmos, and even the entire ultimate void great cosmos could provide a large number of chaos divine treasures to his main body. With so many channels, his main body no longer had to worry about the difficulty of collecting chaos divine treasures. The difficult part was how to quickly nurture master god tier kingdoms and even supreme kingdoms in the supreme great cosmos and the crimson great cosmos. However, he wasn't worried about this. With enough resources, it's not very difficult to support a few master god tier kingdoms in a short period of time. And the main body happens to have enough resources. Zhou Marshall thought to himself. Crimson Great Cosmos. Zhou Shiqi had already arrived. He first met with the succubus god lord, Zhou 15, and had a simple conversation. Then, he transmitted Zhou Zhou's words to Zhou 15. Perfect. Zhou 15 smiled and said, the succubus divine kingdom is developing rapidly. Since you're here to help, I can focus on developing the succubus divine kingdom and strive to upgrade it to a grade 1 supreme kingdom or even higher. At that time, when the blazing sun divine kingdom needs the supreme kingdom to advance to the divine kingdom level, I'll directly offer the succubus divine kingdom. Zhou Shiqi nodded slightly. Wait a minute, Zhou 15 suddenly said. Then, he sent a message to Zhou Shiqi and said, this is the Scarlet Lord faction in the Crimson Great Cosmos that is most likely to advance to beginner grade Master God tier. Take a look for yourself. Zhou Shiqi nodded as he took a closer look. He discovered that in the Crimson Great Cosmos, there were about 12 Lord factions that were most likely to advance to beginner grade Master God tier in a short period of time. Among them, there were 10 local high-level Divine Kingdom Lord factions. The remaining 2 were the Scarlet Lord factions that had caught up later. Without much hesitation, Zhou Shiqi chose 2 of the Scarlet Lord factions that had caught up. This was because these 2 Lord factions were already under the management of Zhou 15. They were now subordinate divine kingdoms of the Succubus Divine Kingdom. Zhou Shiqi could directly hand over the resources in his hands to the other party and let the other party quickly advance to a beginner-grade Master God tier kingdom. Then, he could directly satisfy the advancement requirements of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom to a high-level Master God tier kingdom and directly advance to a high-level Master God tier kingdom. Unlike the other 10, Zhou Shiqi still had to think of a way and reason to hand over the resources in his hands to they and guide they to advance to the beginner-grade Master God tier kingdom. It was too troublesome. As for their own people, Zhou 15 could just give the order to them. Zhou 15 knew what he meant when he saw Zhou 17's advanced divine kingdom. Don't worry, I will subdue the remaining 10 native divine kingdoms as soon as possible and let you support them to advance to a beginner-grade Master God tier kingdom or higher. Zhou 15 said. Zhou Shiqi nodded. Then, he didn't say anything else and turned to leave. Zhou 11 and Zhou 12 were leading a large number of supreme gods to walk in Tianjun's blood aperture, searching for the treasures here as well as the most important chaos divine treasure. Occasionally, when they encountered supreme gods and quasi-supreme realm experts that they could subdue, they would also take action to subdue them. The team was growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. At this moment, Zhou 11 and Zhou 12 already had combat strength comparable to a top-notch supreme realm expert. Therefore, after discussing for a while, they decided to advance towards the deepest part of Tianjun's corpse. They was extremely fast. In less than 3 to 4 hours, they had already arrived at the deepest part of Tianjun's corpse. After a while, Zhou 11 suddenly said coldly, "Who?" As soon as he finished speaking, he had already struck out with his palm. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Law Skill, Myriad Methods Star Palm. This palm directly struck into a deep purple fog. Then, a gloomy voice came from the thick fog. Tisk, a Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Law Skill actually let you use a power comparable to the Quasi-Supreme Will Realm. He's a genius. Unfortunately, even if he is a genius, he shouldn't have come to the deepest part of Tianjun's corpse without the strength of the Supreme Will Realm. All of you stay here, especially the 2 of you. I'm lacking 2 golems to guard the door. The 2 of you are suitable to be my golem gatekeepers. With that, a team of 20 dark purple puppets walked out of the dark purple smoke. These puppets looked to be of the same style, and their entire bodies were covered in deep violet engravings. A terrifying might circulated around their bodies. Zhou 11 and Zhou Shire narrowed their eyes. He was a little surprised. This was because each of these 20 puppets had the strength of a quasi-supreme will realm expert. It's actually a supreme will powerhouse who walks the path of puppets. That's rare. Zhou 12 was very relaxed and even had the time to talk to Zhou Shi. Zhou 11 nodded slightly, seeing that the two of them were so relaxed. The being in the dark purple fog was surprised for a moment before becoming angry. A mere 3 supreme gods were actually so ignorant. Facing a supreme will realm expert like him, they actually treated him as nothing. D***minute. Hee. You've changed my mind. I've suddenly changed my mind. I will put all of you into my 10,000 goo gourd and let you suffer the pain of being devoured by the 10,000 goo, so that you will be immersed in endless pain forever. His voice was gloomy and filled with anger. The quasi-supreme will realm experts and supreme gods behind Zhou 11 and Zhou 12 were already trembling in fear. As for the main characters, Zhou 11 and Zhou Shire, they did not look nervous at all. They even looked at each other and smiled. A mere low-level supreme will realm expert is still hiding like a thief. He actually dares to talk nonsense in front of us. Zhou 11 stood up and looked at the 20 quasi-supreme will realm puppets that were charging at he with a faint smile. His eyes suddenly released a golden glow. Boom, 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 boom. The 20 pseudo-supreme will realm puppets lost control and fell to the ground before they could approach Zhou 11. Zhou 12 raised his hand and beckoned. The 20 quasi-supreme will realm puppets shrunk and flew into Zhou 12's palm like miniature toys. Not bad. 20 quasi-supreme will realm puppets are also extremely useful to the main body. Zhou 12 nodded slightly. After removing the mark on it, he placed it in the number 1 treasure vault. The atmosphere fell silent for a moment. The quasi-supreme will realm and supreme gods behind Zhou 11 and 12 were stunned. As for the supreme will realm existence in the dark purple fog, after a moment of silence, it suddenly chuckled and said, "So it's a supreme god whose will has broken through to the supreme will realm in advance. No wonder you're so confident. However, you're only at the pseudo-supreme will realm. Do you dare to face a true supreme will realm expert like me so boldly?" The supreme will realm expert said coldly, "You talk too much." Zhou 11 could not be bothered to talk nonsense with the other party. With a thought, a low-level will holy artifact and the Xian Yuan divine sword appeared in his right hand. Then, with a thought, he activated the king. Now, the true supreme god, the heavenly blade will, had already appeared in the territory of the main body. Therefore, when he used the king, he instantly broke through from the grade 3 supreme god realm to the low-level supreme will realm. There was no pause. Then, he directly ignored the exclamations coming from the thick fog and brazenly rushed in to fight the other party. In less than a moment, they saw Zhou 11 dragging a corpse that looked like a thick fog as he walked out of the gradually dissipating purple fog and walked towards Zhou 12. Zhou 11 threw the corpse in front of Zhou 12 and let the quasi-supreme will realm experts and supreme gods behind them see it. They looked at the corpse that emitted the aura of the supreme will realm and could not help but gulp. Their eyes filled with shock. Their captain could actually kill a supreme will realm expert? He was only a grade 3 supreme god realm. This was too ridiculous. It was not as if they had never heard of someone defeating a supreme will realm expert as a supreme god. However, that was something that most quasi-supreme will realm experts, who had already stepped into the threshold of the supreme will realm in a certain aspect, could do. Moreover, almost all of these existences had the will to transcend. They had only heard of them killing supreme will realm experts in the legends of top-notch will realm experts. Could their captain also have the potential to become a top-notch willpower expert? This thought appeared in their minds. Then, they looked at Zhou 11 passionately. Especially those experts who had only joined the team at the last minute and had yet to become subjects of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom were extremely tempted. It felt like it was not a loss to follow such a captain. In the future, once the other party became a willpower expert, their value would also multiply. There might even be a chance for them to be promoted by the captain and advance to the Supreme Will Realm in the future. Even though it was very difficult to advance to the Supreme Will Realm, if they had the help of a willpower expert, the probability of successfully advancing would increase by at least 10 to 30%. Right? Their captain had always been more friendly to their teammates who had joined their divine kingdom. Perhaps they could also join their captain's divine kingdom and improve their relationships with their captain. Many temporary teammates thought at this moment. Zhou 11 and Zhou 12 naturally knew their temporary teammates and had many thoughts. However, that was their goal. In the world of the strong, as long as you were strong, there would naturally be more supporters standing beside you. As a lord, pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger was never in his dictionary. He didn't say much as he pointed at the corpse at his feet and said, "I've already seen this guy's world ring. This guy's name is Purple Puppet Will. It's not the heavenly will and Xian Luo's will that we previously understood. Looks like our guess was right. There are indeed more than 2 supreme will realm existences in the deepest depths of this Tianjun's corpse." Zhou 12 nodded. Then he waved his right hand and threw the corpse into the number 1 treasure vault in his body. Then, the two of them didn't say anything else. They led their other teammates deeper into the forest as they gathered the surrounding resources. During this process, they had also encountered many chaos fiends. It could only be said that this place was indeed the deepest part of Tianjun's corpse. The number of chaos demons that appeared here was at least 10 times that of the other peripheral areas. Furthermore, they were also very powerful. Most of them were chaos demons at the level of a grade 4 supreme god. Secondly, they were actually chaos demons at the quasi-supreme will realm. They had even encountered a low-level supreme will realm chaos demon in the process. It was a pity that the moment the chaos demon appeared, it was dealt with by Zhou 11, who was quick-witted. All of the teammates clicked their tongues. Zhou 11 and Zhou 12 were also extremely surprised. This was because they had actually dropped a total of 5,000 chaos divine treasures on this low-level supreme will realm chaos demon. As for the chaos divine treasures dropped by the quasi-supreme will realm chaotic demon, there were only 500 units. There were only 200 units of chaos divine treasures dropped by grade 4 supreme god chaos demons. Just they had collected nearly 10,000 units of chaos divine treasures along the way. This made Zhou 11 and Zhou Shire exclaim in their hearts that this was a supreme treasure land for collecting chaos divine treasures. With this place, he felt that he could gather enough chaos divine treasures to advance his territory today. It was not a problem to use the excess to help Zhou Shiqi support a few beginner-grade Master God tier countries or even intermediate-grade Master God tier countries. Perfect. Zhou 11 and Zhou 12 heaved a sigh of relief. This way, be it upgrading his territory, upgrading the level of his divine kingdom, or supporting the Master God tier kingdoms, or even the supreme kingdoms of the 2 universes, there should be no problem. With this satisfaction in mind, they began to search the deepest part of Tianjun's corpse, Yellow River region. After a night of cultivation, Zhou Fight woke up. He first summoned the will of the heavenly blade to help him, then he immediately contacted the reincarnation will. "Brother, how are things on your end?" Zhou Fight asked. "Haha." The reincarnation will's laughter sounded. "Brother, these guys seem to have broken through their defense. They have been searching for us crazily all night, looking like they won't stop until they kill us. It seems that the death of 3 supreme will realm experts has dealt a heavy blow to them." Haha. After saying that, the reincarnation will could not help but laugh again. Zhou Fight could not help but laugh. However, it was not surprising. Those were 3 supreme will realm experts. If it was any other faction, even if it was the Supreme Will and the Crimson Overlord, they would be able to break through their defenses. It was normal for them to do such a thing.